Calder. I just wanted to jump on a quick video and tell you guys about how to access the Akashic Records. I have a free training, a free 8-part video course for you guys. It's several hours, probably 4 hours of content at this point, where I walk you through for free how to access your own Akashic Records, some brief meditations, guided meditations, so that you can begin to access the blueprint or database of your soul. So let me tell you a little bit about the Akashic Records if they're new, and a little bit about me. My name is Emelina. I am an Akashic Records reader, practitioner, teacher. I've been working in the Akashic Records for at least 7 years, and they have been the base of my personal and spiritual development experience and how I've based my ascension practice in a really easy way. It's like having awareness to all that your soul is, the higher aspects of yourself, having really easy access to your highest self, knowing what decisions to make, what relationships are right for you, what's not, and like quite literally how to make decisions on a moment-to-moment basis every day. I feel like we're all wrought with like all these different decisions that we have to make. And if any of you are like me, or like I've been in the past, like we get like some serious decision fatigue as humans and FOMO, like, oh, what if I make the wrong decision? What happens? Well, here's the deal. If I were to distill the Akashic Records down into a nutshell, I would say they help you make the right decisions for you, for who you are, the own core of your own self-expression. What's right for you is what's right for everyone around you and all of the relationships that you're connected to. When you work with the Akashic Records, you're working on behalf of your highest good and the highest good of everyone who is connected to you. It is very benevolent and very kind. So when you're self-focused in this way, learning how to make your own decisions, learning how to trust yourself, learning how to channel your own intuitive guidance, and allow your sacred divine gifts to really prosper, which happens when you're working within the Akashic Records. You make incredible decisions for yourself, and you become very supportive in all that you do for all who encounter you and engage with and interact with your energy, either at the physical 3D level or at the 5D energetic level. And you get to attract lots of new experiences and relationships, and it gets really fun. I won't, gloss over the whole spiritual awakening experience. It can be difficult as well, which many of you will know. But it's so much easier when you have access to guidance on tap through your own Akashic Records. So I've got some notes. I'm in the collective Akashic Records of Lightworkers, and they were like, just shoot a quick video about this so we can get through to the humans that want to be a part of it. So how do you access the Akashic Records, and what are they? You access the Akashic Records through meditation. It is etheric. It's in the 4th dimension. It's an etheric database or access to your soul blueprint, your own original source code frequency. And with that, you get access to your higher self, your original soul data, your guides, your spirit guides, without any external or psychic interference, which is really, really important, because those of you that have psychic gifts that can feel and intuit and are empathetic and are indigos, I know a lot of you will resonate with that. There's a lot of like, we automatically kind of come into this life having some level of like psychic data or understanding. And there's so much interference when we tap into the 4th dimensional psychic level. Psychic is just like all the collective thought patterns that have ever existed. Whether it's now, whether it's in the past, there's so much. Even AI is like feeding into the psychic data. So when you're psychic, you're tapping into a lot of energy frequencies, and they're not all good. Now, when you work with the Akashic Records, it's like removing all of that psychic interference and just placing you in a beautiful, safe container of your soul and your spirit guides so that you can trust the guidance that you're receiving. So a lot of people refer to the Akashic Records as the blueprint of the soul, the database. A dear friend of mine refers to it as the Google of the soul. You can find out anything that you've ever experienced or lived and things like that. The Akashic Records are essentially a collection of records, like a database. You can think about it like the internet or the web or even the dark web, of every intention of sentient beings. Intentions, actions, thoughts, energies. So in essence, you can read or intuit yourself You get contained within your soul essence so you can really feel what it is to be you without interference of everybody else's thoughts, data, other past lives, realities going on. It really gets you very clear with you, which is really important, because if you can't feel who you are at a soul level completely and inherently, you're not going to be able to make decisions that are of best support to you. So it actually makes your life so much easier to navigate. That's one of the notes I wrote, is like, with all the time and space I've worked in the Akashic Records, and I've taught a lot of people how to consistently access and intuit their own Akashic Records, your life just kind of becomes easier. Personal development feels a lot easier. You feel more satiated in who you are, more safe in this world. You learn how to trust yourself. You learn how to open up your higher aspects, your higher mind, which, for those of you that don't know, we have access to. The way the mind works is there's a lower mind and a higher mind. The lower mind is in charge of everything 3D. It is like, let me get my car, where am I going? I need to eat, I need to use a restroom, I need to pay my rent, who am I meeting today? Like, that's all lower mind type of things. And the lower mind has its own access to intuitive data that moves through the flow of life, that just flows through you and flows through your experience based on how present you are. You have access to a lot of intuitive data at the lower mind level. Now, there's also the higher mind, which can also be known as like the higher self or higher aspects. And that is how you're accessing the Akashic Records through your higher mind. And when you practice working within your own Akashic Records, you're learning how to focus on and intuit what the higher aspects of yourself have to say about your current reality. It's like having a pretty, I don't want to say severe in a weird way, but it's like a pretty severe advantage to being able to walk through life understanding what's happening, why it's happening, how things are connected, and how to navigate challenge in a much more easy way. Challenge never goes away, obviously. We're on Earth, we're steeped in polarity. But the way that you navigate challenge can be much, much easier when you have access to your higher mental faculties, when you have access to your higher mind, when you have access to more spiritual data and awareness and higher consciousness. So the Akashic Records, what I love about it, it's really attuning to your soul. When you work with the Akashic Records, which when I say work with, it just means like sitting into the frequency of the Akashic Records. It's meditating in the space or the container of your own Akashic Records, which again is kind of like, let me think about how to explain it. It's like a private oasis or sacred practice or ritual space, as if you were to go into a temple, and that temple is you. It is your official spiritual home. It is the home of your soul. And it's like a retreat, almost like a sacred retreat, etherically, where when you meditate and sit in stillness in your own Akashic Records, you are accessing a retreat of you, and like sitting into and feeling everything that is you and attuning to you. So it's automatic energy protection. And it's automatic healing when you do work in your Akashic Records. Even just sitting in your records, it's automatically healing. It'll boost your arc field. It'll connect you more to your divine soul blueprint, your divine self, your spirit guide. So you'll feel more naturally led the more you practice it with consistency and repetition, like anything else. It attunes you to your soul frequency. It opens up your creativity. It opens up your ability to be self-motivated and inspired really easily. It helps you with subtle decision making, regardless of when you are officially like in your Akashic Records and meditation. Just by accessing them, you get access to that soul data the rest of the day and even the week. Like, you'll get new downloads, new codes, light codes, inspiration, new thoughts that you've never had before. It really opens up your ability to think differently and create new possibilities in your life. Now, what does that look like? Working with the Akashic Records is like giving you access to your life purpose. I feel like that's one of the things I get asked the most in readings and coaching through my years of coaching people through the Akashic Records and teaching them how to access their own. People are like, I want to know why I'm here on this planet. I want to know what I'm here to do. I want to feel like I'm meant to do something more than like clocking into my job, paying my rent, eating some sandwiches. you know, like basic human stuff. So it helps you understand and fine tune even subtly to your life purpose. It'll help you understand and start to develop your psychic and intuitive gifts, which, newsflash, everyone is psychic. The level to which you're attuned to your psychic and intuitive gifts depends on the level to which you've given it attention and training and mentorship, whether with yourself, others, your spirit guides. There's so many ways to gain mentorship around spiritual gifts. You know, so many people that meet me are like, oh, you're so talented. I'm like, yes, I am very talented. And I had raw talent, you know, like many people do, especially with creative gifts, like any sort of creative gift. Like, you're given raw talent, but how much do you practice it? Are you consistent with it? Are you working on it? Are you being mentored by those that are experts to help draw out more of those talents, build upon them, and become better in your awareness with it? The Akashic Records also help you to clear toxic karmic patterns, right? Karma is just the law of cause and effect. It's understanding when you do something, what happens? Like, what is the effect of what you think? Not even just action, like, how do your thoughts create, right? How do they inspire your actions? When you take impulsive action, where are you taking that impulsive action from? And depending on the intention or the frequency, the quality of that energy will dictate the sorts of results that you get. That's all karmic, okay? It's like very simple. But when you spend a lot of time and attention and awareness in your own Akashic Records, you start to see they bring your attention subtly and naturally, even just through your waking life, to what are more karmic, toxic patterns that need to be brought into some level of just conscious resolve, just you understanding that you're thinking them. Those can be addictive thoughts. They can be addictive emotional patterns. Those can be toxic relationships. They can be toxic circumstances. You know, karma's not always toxic, but a lot of us go to the level of toxicity because you kind of just like keep repeating patterns until they get worse and worse and worse and blow up so that you can see it. And it's not that the universe makes them blow up. It's just that, like, they gain momentum when we're not paying attention because they're unconscious patterns. And so they gain momentum and build and build and build until they become so big and so in our face that we're willing to pay attention to them and resolve them and sit in reflection and say, what's working about this? What's not working about this? What's happening? What's going on? What do I need to change about these patterns, about my life, as subtle as about my thoughts, about how I feel, about what I'm resisting, about what I'm holding on to. What are you holding on to emotionally? What are you resenting? That's something, you know, that's a toxic karmic pattern, or like resentments, and we all hold them on a day-to-day basis. How quickly do you let go of those resentments? How quickly do you honor yourself, your safety, your security, your emotional health? You know, all of those patterns are brought to your awareness very naturally through meditating in the Akashic Records, having a continual practice of being in the Akashic Records. And they just, again, the guardians of the Akashic Records and your spirit guides, like when you just spend time in them daily, weekly, they will naturally kind of get your attention because you're in the frequency of awareness. It's like making a phone call to your lifeline partners up, you know, by God's side and being like, hey, I've got you on call all week. Like, that's kind of like visiting your Akashic Records. And again, you visit your Akashic Records through a meditation practice. And in the free training I have for you guys linked below, I have 8 videos that take you through this, including some guided meditations that will literally take you into your Akashic Records in a very safe way, where you can begin to create this like really beautiful self-guided practice. Okay, now, so I want to tell you a little bit about what's in the training. Also, I want to say the Akashic Records is like really great for exploration of soul gifts. It like helps you like understand your soul and what your soul has mastered at many different levels. Just so many like really beautiful intuitive psychic gifts like are just incredible and amazing. Anyway, so the training that I have for you guys, I explain in detail what the Akashic Records are, how to access them. We go through guided meditations that are really simple, really easy. Anyone can do them. Everyone does have access to the Akashic Records. It is a birthright. This used to be something that was like held back, like, I don't know, like back in the day in Egypt and stuff. Like, people were very selective about who got access to the Akashic Records, and they would try to keep it under lock and key and very quiet, because it allows you to have access to your higher life purpose. And as you can imagine, there are other forces in this universe that don't want people to have access to their soul blueprint and their higher life purpose, because it would mean that you have sovereign control over who you are and that you can't be controlled by other people or other entity types or groups. So it's really magical. I feel really blessed. It's part of my soul contract to teach and facilitate the Akashic Records, and I feel blessed to be someone that does that as a facilitator and a guide. So in the training, I teach you how to access the Akashic Records, and I take you through it in meditation. There's also a really beautiful Starseed activation where I channel an Arcturian Starseed light collective, a light council, and they take us through their explanation of how they use the Akashic Records and how we can access the Akashic Records, and they take us through a meditation and an activation, and it's really, really beautiful. I love it. I really think you guys are going to adore it. It's very sacred, especially for those of you that identify as starseeds or think that you might not be from Earth. Maybe your soul is from another aspect, another planetary, like another star system in this universe. There are Arcturian, Pleiadian, Lyran, Siren, Andromedan, like Mintonkin. I'm sure you guys have heard of these. Just start looking up Starseeds on YouTube. So anyway, that'll start to open up your like awareness of your Starseed knowledge, history, attention to those light codes, and your own access to your higher awareness at the galaxy and the multidimensional level. And then what's beautiful about the Akashic Records is through daily brief meditations, you become your own healer and you become your own guru. Obviously, there are different levels depending on how much you access it, how much practice you put in. There's like, when you just start, you're going to be a little baby in here. And that's really beautiful. And I'm more saying this to say, don't have crazy expectations. Just start the process. It's kind of like working out for the first time. Or maybe you haven't worked out in a while and you're trying it again. Like, it's kind of a new skill. You build it up, but be very patient and loving and practical with yourself as you're accessing it. A lot of it might feel like more traditional meditations, but the more time you give your soul, what would I call it? Like soul conference, the better you're gonna be at receiving guidance that will make you feel like you are in an advantageous position in your life to create a life beyond your wildest imagination. That other people would say, like, how did you get there? How did you do that from what you came from? It doesn't make any sense. And you're like, I'm working with my soul, B. Like, I am working with my soul. I am my own guru. And so anyway, that's what I teach in here. And you'll start to develop some of your psychic gifts. Again, it'll be pretty gently intuitive. We can call them intuitive gifts depending on what you resonate with. Just like working on your subtle intuition. It opens up new neural pathways. It's actually really incredible for the brain. If you want to get smarter, if that's anything you've thought about, I don't normally sell it that way, but the Akashic Records make you wildly smart. It expands your mind with abstract thought, and then they give you time to integrate and bring that into your waking reality and find ways to, I don't know another word, integration is probably the best word to use, where you're learning how to use those gifts and those insights in your daily waking life in very practical ways. And you revisit and they give you more downloads and everything. Anyways, so if you want to get smarter faster, start working with your Akashic Records. It's real. Also because when you're accessing your higher states of awareness, your higher states of consciousness, your higher mind, you're accessing new neural pathways that most humans don't access. Even most people don't know that there is a lower mind and a higher mind. There is a 3D mind and a 5D mind. And most people are running on the 3D mind, not realizing that it's not that hard to be smarter. If you want to work smarter, not harder, in every area of your life, start accessing your higher mind. How do you do that? Well, without me taking you through right now how to do, like, go into your Akashic Records. It starts to condition your higher mind to start to open in a really safe way. And that's something I always ask anyone that's coming through my training or facilitation. This is done in a very, very safe way, because we don't want you to open up too fast, faster than your ego can like identify with and understand who you are to concrete reality, because then you'll question your reality too much. And that's just like not very constructive. So anyway, it's always very, very, very safe. Anything I facilitate is safe. That means you're going to feel safe in your mind. You'll feel safe with your thoughts. You'll feel safe in your body and your emotional experience. And you'll be given the bite-sized amounts of spiritual data that you can integrate without losing yourself. And I think that's really important as well. And then the other thing in this training, so there's 8 videos, there's probably like 4 hours of content. I could 1,000% charge for it. I have another program that I do charge for, but I really like giving you guys access to like the data, the fun of the Akashic Records. Get your feet wet, see if it's for you, see if you like it, see if you enjoy it, play around with it, start with your soul exploration. And then when I do launch my program, it's called Akashic Records Immersion. It's a full-blown like 6 to 8 week, I might extend it this year, program where I take you through a very deep dive on learning how to read your Akashic Records in depth with every level of intuitive insight and understanding that requires, with me as a human guide alongside your spirit guides helping you to interpret that data and understand how to use this in a very waking 3D way, where you really are at an advantageous position to create a life that you want to live, that by any other means or circumstances of whatever you were born into, like you weren't given access to, but you're given access through your soul. So anyway, so when you sign up for the free training, whenever I do launch that program officially, you'll also get access to a fun promo code just for being in the training list. When you sign up, you get emails with each video. I also send you a whole video library where if you are the binge watching type, you can binge watch the entire training. So I really, really think you guys are gonna love and enjoy this training. Again, it is free. The link is in the description below. It's immelina.com/training. And I'd love to hear what you guys think. If you have any experience accessing your own Akashic Records, or you've heard of the Akashic Records and wonder what they are, if you have any questions, or you've been kind of like jumping into your Akashic Records and you're like wondering how to intuit or understand some of the psychic data that comes through, like leave me some comments below. I would love to answer them. I will pop into the comments and answer what I can. But I hope you guys love this video. If you did, please like it, comment, subscribe. If you're new, tap that bell for notifications so you don't miss any video updates. I'm going to be talking a lot about the Akashic Records through the year. So travel with me on this spiritual journey. I'm sending you guys so much love. Thank you for joining me. Until next time, I'll see you in the next video. Alrighty, peace.